All right, our recording has started. Now let me do that again. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for your patience as we got started with our pastoral ministry class. It's so good to see you again. And I hope that you're having so far can you believe it? We're halfway through, looking at my calendar, halfway through 2022. And I hope that you're enjoying your summer as it's getting started. I had a rocky start to last week or this week, but I just asked you all keep my sister and my brother-in-law in prayer and my nephew. And my brother-in-law's mother passed away. He's the only child, very, very, very close to his mother. He lost his dad when he was 15. So it was just him and his mom for a very long, long time. And it was a very big loss. And so I traveled to North Carolina to conduct the funeral and everything. Got back late last night. So thank you for your patience and all of my changing things around, but we are getting started. So thank you all for your prayers. I hope that you are doing well. I'm going to share our screen and we're going to get started. Please ask any questions. So what I want to do right now is today is going to be a kind of like an orientation day. And for my students who are on, let me do this again. Hold on. Let me share the screen again. Okay, do me a favor, Troy, open your microphone. Let me know if you can see the syllabus that's on the screen.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
super, thank you.
Yes.
All right, awesome students. I am really excited about pastoral ministry class, and I'm going to be depending on a lot of you in this particular course. One thing I want to say about this course, this is an elective course um, for our religious studies certificate program individuals, and some people are taking this course as just an elective to their overall program. And we're going to talk about the course today. Now we're going to meet virtually on Mondays. Now we didn't meet yesterday, Monday, because I was out of town. And of course, we're going to meet next Monday, pulling up my calendar. And guess what? We got Juneteenth that's coming up. What is that, the 20th? The 20th, June 20th. So we won't be meeting that day, okay? Because that's a holiday. That's a national holiday. So we're federal holiday. So we won't be meeting on the 20th, and I will give you an updated date. I apologize. Who's doggy? And I apologize when I got our schedule going. It is my fault. I am so sorry for not recognizing Juneteenth on our calendar. All right, so I will update that calendar for you. Please make sure that let's talk a little bit more about the book and the course, but let's talk about a couple of dates. Thank you, students, for doing your introduction forum. Everybody did it. We got 100% of this course. Everybody jumped in there the first week and got your introduction forum done. That is so important, and it's just something little, but it just lets the university know, it lets the school know that you are active. It lets them know that you got into the course, that you're really here, and that you can't be dropped. So thank you so much. Of course, we started our class officially May 31st, and we will end our last day of class July 28th. So we are roughly about 8 weeks. Let me talk a little bit more about your book. I got the book. The book right here. I hope I have it in view. The textbook is called We Have This Ministry, and we're going to talk more about the authors. We Have This Ministry, the art of the pastor's vocation by Samuel D. Proctor and Gardner C. Taylor. We're going to talk more about those authors. then what in the world is pastoral ministry all about? And so, but for this particular course, let me go back to our course description. We're going to talk about what it takes or what it entails and the theology of leadership in what we call ecclesial or non-ecclesial, like a church or like a religious organization. So we're talking about leadership, what it entails. Now, some of you here in this class find yourself already practicing in pastoral ministry already. You may serve as maybe an associate, or so we have some students here who are pastors, um, some people who may be in leadership of other religious organizations. And so that's what our text will talk, our book really, because it's not really like a textbook, but this is what our book will talk more about. But Samuel D. Proctor and Gardner C. Taylor talk from their personal point of view of being pastors. Okay. Also, during this course, as we talk about leadership, okay, pastoral leadership, we're going to talk this summer about some trends that have been happening with leadership, both good and bad, and especially some shifts that have happened to religious organizations due to COVID-19. So the religious setting on organizational leadership has had to look at itself and perhaps change some things in the way that it leads people. So by the end of this particular course, you will have learned certain objectives. So you're going to say, what are some of the necessary components when it comes to pastoral leadership? And remember, when I use that word pastoral leadership, the person may not always be a pastor. They may, but remember, they're in some type of leadership in a church or church religious organization. Okay. All right, and we're also going to dig in the first 2 weeks of this course and learning more about Dr. Taylor and Dr. Proctor, all two awesome Black preachers and leaders. And if you don't remember anything, I want you to remember the names of Proctor and Taylor, Gardner C. Taylor and Samuel D. Proctor. And if you probably have just started Googling some of the things, their names are just going to pop up and blow up. They have books, and they're both passed away, but their legacy is huge in the Black church. Okay. And then lastly, let us see, we're going to analyze the social, historical, and political context in which pastoral ministry has grown and changed over the years in the African American Black church. Okay. Let me skip past a few things. I'm going to talk about our course schedule, and then we're going to talk about our assignments. And then I'm going to stop talking, and then we're going to open it up for questions. All right. So each week, I am still building out this course. So you'll see that some things may still be absent because this is a brand new course. Each week you will have a discussion towards the end of the semester. You may not have as many, but you will have a discussion, and we'll talk about your discussion post for this week. Okay, and just make sure that when you are doing your discussion posts, make sure that they're done for the week by Sunday night at 11:59. Same thing. Make sure that when you start your post, that your first post is at least 200 words, is thoughtful, and then try to reply to your classmates, at least 2 classmates. That's how we learn from each other. All right, so they'll be sprinkled throughout. Next, they'll be sprinkled throughout your semester. 3 reading quizzes. They'll be based on the readings and what we share in class. Okay. Letter C, you'll have a journal article. One of the things that I do want to expose you to this semester is reading scholarly articles. Okay. And so books are great, but I also want to add more research to your toolbox and introduce some journal articles. And so when that assignment comes up, you're going to read that journal article. It might be a little long, but you're just going to take your time with it and you will submit a 2-page double-space summary about that particular article. And I believe the article that I selected has to do with, I want to say it's pastors and burnout, but it'll be posted for you in your D2L page. All right. Letter D, I'm excited about some of your assignments this semester. You will have a practical ministry exercise, and there'll be more directions that will be supplied for you in D2L when that week comes up. Okay, you will have an exercise, and you can also interview or get the assistance of a pastor if you're not a pastor, and we'll talk more about that when that week comes up. All right, and then let me get to the last two things. Your final research paper will be 10% of your grade. And your research paper is going to be the last, due the week of the excuse me, I cannot talk, due the last week of class, and that will be coming up in July, like the late July. And your research paper is going to focus on an issue of pastoral leadership, and you may be focusing on a particular area for improvement. Maybe you're talking about burnout. Maybe you're talking about some issues that dealt with finances or things like that. And in your paper, and you'll have more directions on this, but this is just an overview. Excuse me. And the paper will be about 5 pages, double spaced. Okay, and lastly, we're going to talk more about this next week because we're going to start preparing for a class project. A class project. And this class project, for those who are watching now and those who are going to be watching this video later, we are all going to participate and assist. Well, what is it about? This will be a virtual seminar that we, the pastoral ministry class, is going to put together and offer on a Zoom format. Okay, we will offer a seminar. Let me come back and get to look at you again. And we will offer this in a Zoom format. So what we are going to do next week, we are going to start planning for our ministry seminar. We are going to, as a group, as a class, and as your instructor, okay, we're going to look around. We have some individuals who are already in pastoral leadership, okay? And we're going to be tapping on you. We have others who are going to assist. We may have others that are going to do flyers. But our point is, hey, we are in this class, okay, of pastoral ministry. And we are learning all these nuggets from our wonderful scholars and theologians of Gardner C. Taylor and Samuel D. Proctor. And we're going to take some nuggets from what we're going to learn in June and July and put them together somewhere towards the end or mid-July is kind of what, because we're going to nail down a date. And we are going to come up with a 1-hour seminar that we're going to offer to our churches, our family and friends. And we are going to choose our panel to present that information to our church family, friends, neighbors, whoever we would like to invite. And I'm excited. I even talked to Dean Ako, and he has given, I guess you want to say, like, his blessing. He's excited about us offering something to our community. So we don't have all of it planned today because we are just talking. But next week, and what's next week's date, y'all? June, this month's going to be gone. Is it 13th? Yes, the 13th. And during that class period, I want you to come with a brainstorming cap on, and we're going to say, what does our virtual seminar look like? We're going to come together for our date. It will be July, it won't be June. I want it towards maybe like the middle or towards end of July. Okay. And then we're going to come together with some particular topics that we would like to share and educate our community regarding pastoral leadership. We're going to give them some tips. I see a hand. Hello, Ms. Duhart. You want to open your microphone?
Good morning, everyone. Professor Barry, would that be on Monday or Tuesday? I'm a little off now. What days are the
You
11
you are
o'clock?
fine. Good morning. Okay, you are fine. So, thank you again for your patience to the class, for me being out yesterday due to the funeral. And so, today was Tuesday because I was out. But next week we'll go back to Monday. And I'm looking at my calendar. You see me over here. Monday is the 13th. Is that right? Yes. And then Ms. Duhart, thank you for sending that reminder about Juneteenth. And I should be embarrassed when I was doing my calendar. I forgot about
It,
Juneteenth and our
it's
federal.
okay. It's a newly approved holiday for the state of Georgia and for the University of Georgia. It's understandable.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, we're going to get that holiday on in there. So because we do not meet on June 20th, that's Juneteenth, I will reschedule us to meet on Tuesday, the 21st, and to accommodate for our day off.
Okay, so all of our meetings will be on Tuesdays at 11 o'clock.
No, ma'am, we're gonna stick to Mondays. I apologize for getting you confused.
Okay,
I'm because of Juneteenth
I got you.
is a Monday. We're gonna
That
take our
we'll
holiday
do it on.
Monday.
Okay, I got it. So
Mhm.
we're meeting on Mondays at 11, except for that week we'll be on the 20th. Got it. Thank you.
That's correct. And of course, today, because of the funeral, I had to attend yesterday. All right. All right, everybody. All right, let's take an exhale. I know I was talking a lot. Thank you, everybody. Let's just pause real quick before we go to D2L. Any questions? All right, all right. If you have any others, remember you may have some questions that somebody else is watching and they might have a question too. You just let me know. All right, let's go back to D2L. All right. Um, Ms. Duhart, let me know that you can see my screen. Just open your microphone.
Yes, ma'am.
Super, thank you. All right, everybody, I try to set it up similar to our previous classes, and make sure you always check your announcements. I will always have some announcements there for you. Let me just backtrack a little bit and go to our syllabus and resources tab. I want you to take a look at the syllabus. May tweak this syllabus a little bit, especially with our dates kind of being off for Juneteenth. So I'll let you know when I update that syllabus. I also want you to go right here to this pastoral ministry handout. Let me see if I can click on it. We are not going to read it right now. But what I want you to do is if you can click on this pastoral ministry handout, I want you to download it and save it to your computer. Okay? It does say teacher's manual. It's all right. All right. I want you to download it and save it to your computer. It is very long. Okay. So I don't want you to have to like scroll through like this. Make sure that you save it. Okay. One more time. It will be found in syllabus and resources right at the top of your page. Okay. Right here. And later on today, if you haven't done it already, I want you to keep this. That's the whole point. So I want you to have some nuggets with you. And when I see extra things about pastoral ministry, I'm going to put it in this folder. Okay. Let's just double back a little bit because I didn't see you last week. Thank you, everybody, once again for just doing the simple thing of doing your introduction. That is so important because it lets us know that you're here and you can't be dropped from the class. So we got our attendance verification 100% for this course. Thank you, everybody. We're going to talk about our pastoral ministry introduction in just 1 second. So you give me 1 minute and then I'll come back to that. Now, technically, we're in week 2. And I do want to talk about your discussion posts before we get to our review real quick. All right. This week, we're starting off the week of June 6th. This week, we're going to learn more about the authors of your book. And you have an interview with Reverend Gardner C. Taylor. So what I want you to do is see down here all the way at the bottom. Let me see if I can scroll up. You're going to click on that link. Let me know if there's any issues, but you're going to click on that link and you're going to watch his video. You all, Dr. Taylor and Dr. Proctor are just world-renowned theologians, Black theologians. You are going to be, I just can't even give you the words. I think you'll be really touched, astounded, overwhelmed by all the knowledge of these two men. I want you also to, if you want to do for your own research, if you want to learn more information about Dr. Taylor, one of our authors for our book, you can click on the faithandleadership.com link. Okay. So you're simply going to watch his video, Dr. Taylor's video. Okay. And then after you watch the video, you're going to share your thoughts. What have you learned? And post your reflections on Dr. Taylor. Okay. Okay, let me come back to you. Sometimes I can't see you. Are you all okay for discussion week 2? Okay. And you are really going to enjoy those videos. And also, and remember, everything that we do in this course, it's all right, y'all. You can share it. I've had some of these videos I share with some of my friends in ministry. I'm like, hey, you've got to watch this. And it really just enlightens people. All right. Let me switch gears. Let me go back to one more thing before we get to our PowerPoint. I got excited. I forgot to go over our course outline. All right, got too excited. Now, we find ourselves in week 2, the week of June 6th. As we said, we are going to jump into chapter 1. So if you haven't done it already, you can go ahead and start reading chapter 1. I know that the first week is kind of crazy. Students are getting in and trying to figure out what they're doing, and me as well. And we're thankful because I didn't even know that those type of things, funerals and all that were going to be happening. So you're going to read chapter 1. Chapter 1 talks about the pastor's commission, like calling, if you haven't done so already. And then you're going to watch Dr. Taylor's interview. So for next week, you can just keep going. We have the interview on Dr. Proctor. We may have that first quiz. If I don't feel like it is ready, I'll move it to week 4. We'll talk about the pastor as intercessor on week 4. And as you can see, we just keep going. Week 5, I am hoping that we will have a guest with us during our session, as well as you have an assignment for a journal article reflection. Week 6, I have another guest, pastor guest, and you see in week 6, we're going to talk about the pastor as counselor. And I have a guest that's coming. She is a pastor as well as a licensed counselor. And so we're going to talk a little bit about mental health and leading groups and helping them to be mentally healthy during this time frame that we're living in. It's just really crazy. Okay. We'll talk a little bit more about in week 7 on your pastoral ministry exercise. Week 7, you're going to have an exercise on a family in crisis. And as we get closer to that, you're going to assist a fictitious, not a real, a fictitious family in crisis. And you are going to see how you can assist them in that assignment in week 7. And I'm telling you, it doesn't take long for us to get to the end. Week 8, we're going to talk about the pastor, the issue of diversity, liberation, and working in community. I tentatively had our virtual forum scheduled for the 21st, but that is not etched in stone. We'll talk more about our official date next week. And then as we get to our last week, we'll talk about politics and the pastor. Okay. And then your final paper will be due during finals week. I know it seems like a lot, and it probably is, as we are condensing this into 8, 9 weeks. All right. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna be quiet. Any questions so far? All right. Y'all are wonderful, wonderful. All right. Now, let me transition and let's
Terry, I have
go
a
right
question.
ahead. Go right ahead.
As a working adult, sometimes it may be more expedient for me to complete assignments early than later. I know you're still building the course. Is it possible to open up assignments so if an opportunity were to arise and I'm able to complete assignments earlier than the due date?
Thank you for asking that question. Yes, and yes, and yes.
I was
Er,
just about to ask the same thing because I work late, so it's gonna
sure.
be hard for me to get stuff in by 11:59 on, especially on the Sundays that assignment to do.
Yeah. Now that's when it's due. Early is fine, but the latest is, yeah, the latest, when it's due is Sunday. But if you do an assignment and you say, hey, I'm gonna just knock this out this week, and as Miss Duhart was saying, maybe I want to knock something out for week 6, and I'm gonna do it because I know I'm gonna be away. Let me say this also. I'm sorry. I know I'm doing a lot of talking, but I have been missing y'all. We all are adults and we got stuff going on. I know that you work, but it's also summertime and you may have trips and vacations and things like that. I know I do have one coming up in July. Think it won't bother us too much because it's like a Thursday, kind of over the weekend. Um, and I will need to go travel to see my mom, but I think it may not mess with us. And if you know that you're going to be away, taking a trip, conferences, things like that, just let me know. I understand. It's summertime. Get your get your travel in. Yeah. You know what I've learned as I'm transitioning here, y'all. Um, we got to take our vacations. We got to take care of ourselves. Sitting around here burning ourselves out, right? All right. Well, let's do this. Let's do a orientation of chapter 1. I'm gonna just do a little introduction and we're gonna chat and then we're gonna head on out of here. All right, let's talk a little bit more about what is pastoral ministry real quick. And so I talked earlier, when we use the particular word pastoral, a lot of people think of a pastor at a church, and you are bingo, you are right. But that is not just what we're talking about, pastoral ministry or leadership. Remember, it can also be an individual who may not be the head person of the church like the pastor, but maybe they walk alongside the pastor, maybe they serve in a deacon role, maybe they serve as an associate ministry, maybe they serve in another capacity in leadership. But the key thing is we're talking about leadership, leadership, okay, of a religious organization. And so some people find themselves, they may be in pastoral ministry, but they are working with some type of religious nonprofit or something. And that requires leadership as well. Okay. Oops, excuse me. Okay. So y'all open your microphones. I want you to tell me a little bit about the animals there. Can you see the animals? Eh, Can y'all see the animals?
No, we only
Oh,
see the head of the PowerPoint.
see, it does this. When I advance, sometimes I don't know why it doesn't go forward. Let's do it again. Okay, let me know if you can see the animals, and it should say the role of shepherding.
Okay.
Yes, now we can.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry. All right, now, do you see that? Well, I gave it away when I said shepherding. You see what they are? They're sheep.
Sheep. Yes.
Okay, so let's chat real quick. Anybody know the characteristic of a sheep? Of sheep? I should have said of sheep. what kind of animals are they? Would we call them would they have characteristics like dogs?
No.
No,
No.
no.
It's a mammal.
It,
They're
it,
passive creatures.
who said that?
Gregory Duhart.
Hello, Mr. Duhart. How you doing? Yes, they are passive. Somebody tell me else a little bit about sheep.
I put down that they're, I'm gonna always be the academic side. They're mammals,
They are mammals. Yes, they are.
which is
They need to be led.
they,
They are mammals, and they need to be led. That was that Lee, Mr. Lee?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You are all correct. Anybody want to add any bit more about characteristics of sheep?
they provide a covering, their fur, their coat.
They sure do. Anybody got some wool? Wool coat, sweater, make you itch, but you're gonna stay warm.
Yeah. You can
The in the males called a ram. The male, I don't know what the women are called. The females are called, but I know the males are called a ram.
And they have
The horn.
well, they have the horns.
Mhm.
I might have to look that one up.
I
Not
think
sure.
they're getting mixed up with
Ram.
the goat. The
Oh,
goat,
rams
that's the
or
goat.
rams?
Well, they do have a mountain sheep that has horns too. A mountain sheep.
They're called rams.
They are called rams. Okay.
They
Yeah.
are called rams
Yes.
with the horns.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
mountain sheep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
Gotcha.
Wow.
See, I'm learning something here because now with all of you are correct as we talked about characteristics of sheep. Now, when we talk about pastoral ministry, the leader is shepherding. And so if you look at the quote that I have here at the top, Jeremiah 3:15, when we talk about shepherding and pastoral ministry, many times the mind may go back to the animal, a sheep. But the whole point, I do want you to keep the animal in your mind because the animal is very important because of its characteristics. But Jeremiah 3:15, the word of God says, I will give you a shepherd, I should have said a shepherd, after my own heart, who will feed you with knowledge and understanding. Mm-hmm. And that shepherd can be, correlate to Jesus and also to a leader who is leading a particular flock, who's helping them out. Now, we said earlier, somebody said that sheep are passive, they need guidance, they can go all over the place. One of the most famous scriptures is Psalm 23. And David says, the Lord is my shepherd. And throughout that Psalm 23, David reflects so much on pastoral leadership, reflecting on the roles of a shepherd, a physical human shepherd, but also what the good shepherd uh, does for the sheep people, us, the followers as well. Okay. So when we think about the sheep, think about the animals, and they can just kind of go all over the place. They will go all over the place unless the shepherd is giving them some type of leadership. Okay. And so the shepherd says, hey, y'all, this is what we're going to do this year for 2022. This is our goal, and this is how we're going to get there, and this is how I'm going to guide you. And if your sheep, and I'm not talking about the animal, but let's use it as a example, excuse me, analogy for the people. If your sheep all over the place and there is no leadership in the organization, what happens?
They go astray.
They go astray.
Mm-hmm.
They go astray. Some of you have pets in your house, especially like dogs or cats and things like that. You tell them what to do. You say, hey, you know, uh, doggy, you can't come up here, you can't get on the bed, or you can't get on the couch. You tell your dog what to do or not do. I don't know how you tell cats what to do because they just kind of do their own thing. Same thing here in the role of shepherding, and I'm talking about the animal. The shepherd has to keep them in line. And if we've always had those Christmas plays, right, where we gave the kids the shepherd staff, and the staff was used to keep the animals, the shepherds, in line. And so as we make that correlation to people being sheep and the shepherd being a leader, if there is no vision, if there are no classes or whatever it is, if they can't see the goal, if your people cannot see the goal of your organization or your church or your ministry class or whatever it is, uh, I think it was Miss Duhart said, well, if they just go astray, they sure will. They're not coming anymore. They don't see the point of it. And then they go off and do something else. Or they join somewhere else. They go get some water from another stream, right? Because they find that, hey, it's better over here. You let me wander. And when the person goes to wander, they'll wander. Go ahead. Somebody had a question or comment. You good? Okay. All right. So I do want to hit right here, and then we're going to pause. I do want to talk about chapter 1, that you all are going to finish reading it if you haven't done so already, about the pastor's commission. Commission. When we say that particular word commission, somebody open your microphone. What do we think commission means?
Charge.
I like that.
Responsibility.
Charge. Very good. Look at the first block up there I have for you. So the commission, as I believe Dr. Taylor had the first chapter. Yeah, Dr. Taylor had the first chapter. And he calls the commission like a call or a charge for the person to do some type of work. And he says that this commission or this call, I like the word charge, obligation on this person's heart, should, like any other field, have some sort of training. That he really felt that this person shouldn't just jump into it, that it wasn't a light call, that it was something very weighty on the person. Dr. Taylor also says that this person's commission or this person's work can also have conflict with their personal character. Okay. Now I want to pause. I want to pause, and I'm going to leave this up here. I apologize if y'all hear some background noise. I live in an area where they're doing some construction, so I'm not sure if you can hear all that noise. I want to pause. Who is a pastor?
Minister Troy Thomas and Minister Lee Roger Jones. Yeah, I called y'all.
George trying to hide over there. So, and we have other leaders in our class. If you, some we have serving in pastoral ministry leadership. Some, I was reading your introductions, are deacons. Some of you are assistants in somehow, and some are even. And I want to preface this as well. We're not making anybody feel bad if you don't serve in those roles. It is all right. We're all learning their different ways. So please don't feel like, Lord, I'm in the wrong class. No, you're not. Okay. So I'm glad that you're here also, because those that serve in those particular roles, you can share and add on to our our two awesome authors. But as we end right here, I wanted to, if anybody wants to jump in and talk about commission. Um, Taylor said this shouldn't be something that somebody just raises their hand and say, I want to do this. It is weighty. He used that particular word, weighty. It wasn't a light type of thing to do. So if anybody, whether you are heading up a religious organization, let's say a religious nonprofit, that's heavy work to do as well.
Mm.
So let me ask you this question, then we're gonna end. What would happen if an individual calls themselves to pastoral leadership and they maybe really should not be? What could happen?
Well, they could shipwreck. Today, in my current role, I have students who want to major in religious studies or pastoral ministry, not anybody in this class, but they talk about how they want to be pastors and they choose pastoring like it's a job description that you just apply for and you just make yourself it, almost like an entrepreneur. I want to be a pastor. So they treat it and they think of it as such,
As a job,
as a job description.
job description. And just like if my mom was a teacher for 30 something years in the Baltimore school system. God bless all the teachers. That's a calling. Because I want you to think, and I'm taking it to another area,
Mhm.
I want you to shift your thinking. What happens when me, okay, I am not called for K through 12, but if I said, hey, I can make a whole bunch of money over here because they make way more than I do, right? I can make a whole bunch of money over here, get a good pension, and I'm a teach first grade, and know good and well I am not called to that. That is not my personality. So if I do that, I'm hurting those children. I'm not giving my all because that's not where my gifting is and wasn't called to go. Y'all would have to help me if I'm in a room of first graders. But for some people, that brings them so much joy and, excuse me, and so much energy. You know, they love it.
Miss Berry, I think at that point you become a hireling.
Yep.
I think that
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
working
Mhm.
for the increase rather than for the
Yes.
love of the people. And if the main objective of a pastor is to care for the people, and if they take their position just for money, then
Right.
the people doesn't have an advantage. It's not what the word of God says. The hireling is not supposed to lead the sheep. And I also want to add too, we were talking about sheep. One thing about the nature of sheep is that they have to be led, and like you said, but they also provide through their blood an anti-venom against snake bites.
Oh, I did not know that.
When you go to the hospital, the anti-venom that they use once you're bitten by a rattlesnake, it comes from the blood of sheep.
Interesting.
That's very interesting.
Hmm.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
So this is good. We're going to press pause here. This is a good discussion. We're going to pick this up. Remember, next week we will meet Monday, okay? Um, I want you to, as you move throughout the week, read the rest of chapter 1. Keep the analogy of the animal sheep in your mind, okay? I like how we said that the animal, the sheep, go all over the place. The second thing I want you to keep in your mind is the analogy of the shepherd, okay? The shepherd is a leadership role and needs to keep the animals in check and guide them, right? And if the physical shepherd doesn't do that, the animals go all over the place. I want you throughout this week, start to think, and even if you don't attend, and I don't want to discriminate against anybody, even if you physically don't attend a church, we can see these examples everywhere.
Mhm.
When the leadership is not doing what it's supposed to do, I'm trying to find the right word. That's not really what I want to say, but it's not doing what it's supposed to do in guiding and keeping and feeding them. Some sheep might have to eat this. Remember how y'all were talking about the rams, and then it was mountain sheep, and it was this sheep and that sheep. Okay, if the shepherd is not keen enough to understand what their sheep need, the sheep gonna die. The sheep gonna walk away. They're gonna be malnourished. They're gonna be angry. You understand? So when we see this in organizations, religious organizations, churches, or whatever, and we find ourselves in 2022, and I'm always going to bring this up. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. And I'm always going to bring this up because COVID did a number with religious organizations. And even my own church, we are struggling. We're trying to figure out, how do we get the people to come back? Is it not coming back?
Mm.
What type of, I shouldn't say they're not coming back, but I don't know. I just don't know. Um, we're scratching our head here. So I'm going back to pastoral leadership. What type of, there's no answer to this question, but I want you to ponder this. What type of shepherding, pastoral leadership do we need in 2022, post-COVID? And I don't know, what are we, post-COVID now? I pray we are, with getting the sheep back or getting new sheep. Okay. All right. Y'all all right?
Yes.
We're good.
Yeah, we're gonna pick up and finish chapter 1 next week. Y'all read the rest of the chapter. I will warn you, it's not a bad warning, that the book is awesome. The chapters aren't very long, but remember, this is a reflection of Proctor and Taylor's ministry. So it doesn't read, if you started reading already, it doesn't read like your previous textbooks that we've had. And I think you're going to enjoy it. You might agree with some of the things that they say, you might not, but it's okay. It brings up good discussion. All right. All right, everyone. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see y'all. I've been missing you. All right, everyone, have a good afternoon. Let me know if you have any questions. And to our people who are watching the recording, you make sure that you watch and complete discussion for week 2.
Great.
Okay, bless you all. Have a good one.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.
Great.
You too.
Hey there, Miss Duhart.
Hey.